So, in Destiny 2, we just got Strand, and the subclass 3.0 reworks added during Witch Queen. And ever since they reworked the light subclasses, I've been kind of thinking of third supers they could put, because in some cases they only have two, or they have two similar supers with a third one, like Golden Gun having two versions of Golden Gun, and some that just don't even have a third super at all. And before we get this video started, just want to make it clear, I made this list over a year ago, so there are no Strand ones because I haven't even thought about it until now, so I guess I can make that into another video. That, and it seems like everything I think of, they eventually end up happening at some point to a degree, so this is more of a, in quote, I can link back to this if they ever add it and go, haha, look, I called it, lol. So, to start off, we have my main class, the Warlock. For Solar, we currently have Well and Dawnblade, a mass healing super and an offensive super. Some people would say self-res, and while I think that could be a good fit covering the healing, offense, and rezzing, it's just boring, and if you use it, you boring. So I say let's bring back Radiant Skin and just make it so you're a walking self-healing well that can tank damage like a champ. Like, you can go up to a champ and 1v1 it in a GM if you felt like it. For Arc, we have Tickle Fingers and Chaos Reach. If anything, I would like to see the option of when you hit your super, you just turn into a giant storm grenade that does a massive burst damage in a smallish area. Like, think about calling down a lightning strike, for instance. For Void, we have Nova Bomb but slow in tracking, and Nova Warp. Kind of going for a similar thing as the Arc super, but not really aimable and more range. You pop your super and spam out a bunch of scatter grenades out in all directions. And not whole grenades, I'm talking just single little scatter grenades that hit just once per instance. And what super are we getting rid of? None, just make it so you throw both Nova Bombs, because at the point of making this video, Nova Bombs do no damage. So, might as well make it do some damage. And as for Stasis, we got two to pick from. We got the one we have, so let's have the idea of playing around the staff being a standalone thing. The one variant can be jammed into the ground and act like a beefed up stasis turret. It can either shoot the instant freezing orbs the current super has, or make it rapid fire the current stasis turret projectiles like a minigun. And for the second super, you can activate it and instant freeze everything in a huge area, like the Frost Pulse aspect. Now, on to Titan. To go in the same order of element, we start with Solar, where we have Hammers and Bigger Hammer. And sort of going with the hit the super button and do an instant panic-like super. What if the third one was just your Titan stomps into the ground and covers the whole floor in lava? Going on to Arc, the whole punch super and yeet Titan. Let's stick with the whole punching things and make it so you can walk up to a boss and rapidly punch it like a damn JoJo's character. For the Void, going with the whole tank theme with a bubble and banner shield. Let's give it so you can only have all the armor. And make it like the Warlock Solar super idea. It just gives you an insane amount of armor. So unlike the Warlock, you can't heal the armor, but not weak enough that in PvP you can be out-tanked by a Wither Horde shot, or just another super. Like, you can take two supers to the face, maybe. Like, you are the Juggernaut in Call of Duty, and you're just a slow tank that can't be killed. Stasis, I didn't really make any good ones, as I don't really play Stasis on my Titan yet. But to keep it short, number one, you can make a box of super dense ice around you, like a bubble that even you can't leave for protection, or you can launch a giant ice shard that hits like a train. The other super can be a slam that causes a constant ripple effect of stasis glaciers. That's a mouthful. Of stasis glaciers that constantly kind of ripple out and do like a wave effect of damage in an area. So onto the Slippery Hunters for Solar. Just get rid of one of the Golden Guns or make the aspect dictate which version of it you get to use. Otherwise, the super for this would make it so your Hunter can walk around at maximum movement speed, and you could run on top of that. No armor, no abilities, just running fast. For Arc, I was thinking of nunchucks kind of thing, where you could pull in an ad to kill it, aka what they basically gave Strand Hunters for their super. This is the primary reason I'm making this video, as it's the one that really tickled me and annoyed me enough to say it, so afterwards there are a couple other ones if you guys want to hear them after the video. That, and we did actually get a new Arc super with the 3.0, so for the third one, let's just say we get an overload buff that makes it so when you deal any arc damage, you jolt the target. And I mean any arc damage, like one bullet from your gun will cause a target to jolt. For Void, let's make the third one so you can smoke out a giant area. Simple and sweet, because why do we need two tethers? Just make them one thing and control it via aspect, or just make them both do the same thing. For Stasis, I'm thinking something along the lines of the Void Warlock one, but something you can more aim and make it so you can spam Stasis shurikens in a direction. And for the third one, I really couldn't think of one, but just made it so you can get like a super sense, like you can get so cold enough that you see like thermal outlines of people, and maybe you travel around on like a little cloud so people can't see you. Otherwise, that's the short list I'm gonna spew out on the internet for those moments when I can yell at my friends, look here, I called it. Otherwise, the ones that can remember, me and my friend were talking before Black Armory launched, and he was like, hey, I just read an article saying Icebreaker's coming back, and this was back in the auto-loading well era, so I'm like, well, that really wouldn't be nice, because it can only hold 6 shots, so I'm like, the only way you can beat automatic loading weapons with infinite mags is if you could just do a shite ton of burst damage. So what if you could like charge it like a fusion rifle and shoot all 6 shots at once? He didn't mention anything about how the gun worked, just said Icebreaker's coming back. I pretty much called how Izanagi's Burden works. And the other one pretty much being the Arc Hunter super idea, basically just being the Strand super. But that's the one that pretty much really tickled my nerves there to make me make this video. Otherwise, there's more I probably called, I just can't remember. Otherwise, if there are any super ideas that you have, leave them down in the comments down below. Otherwise, have a good day.